At-home mom. You're going to be paying for a chauffeur, a chef, a nanny, a project manager for the house.
You think this is normal? You work all day and then hide out here instead of being inside.
I just want 10 minutes of peace.
Unbelievable.
Have the men given up? I'm serious. They just stopped. They don't want to have sex anymore. They don't want to go on dates with women. They just want to hang out with their boys. Look, I get it. Men want to hang out with men. They want to do their thing. They don't want to care about women drama anymore. I don't know. Maybe someone can explain to me what's going on, because as long as men are not approaching women, they are going to be single. And women are having a great time. From what I've seen, single women are having a great time. Yes, maybe they want boyfriends, they want to hook up, but single women are having a great time. The single men, I don't know, not so much. What do you think?
The panic is setting in, not the dramatic movie-style panic where someone pulls a fire alarm, the quiet 2 a.m. scrolling through an empty inbox kind of panic, the kind where you open the dating app, look at the matches, and realize the men you actually want are simply not there, not taken, not busy, opted out, deliberately, peacefully, without a single backwards glance. And that realization is hitting differently in 2026. Let's get into it.
No, because I don't think men want to take women out on dates anymore. I feel like they don't want to take women out on dates. Their idea of a date in some way is saying, hey, let's meet at the bar. Let's meet at the bar and just have some drinks, just meet me there. Let's spend some time together. And it's not even a proper date. That's what they will suggest 100%. Or better yet, if you are on Hinge, I'm so sorry, I'm all out and about. I just got done working out. But anyways, even on Hinge, you will literally see men not want to go on dates with you. I have matched with so many people on Hinge, and the matter of men, the amount of men who do not want to pursue anything after the first 2 messages is really crazy. There was no effort from them to or even any incentive to take you out on a date. It's just they just want to match just to match, and they're not really there to be intentional. And mind you, am I being super dead serious on finding somebody on Hinge? Not really. I'm just there to kind of see hey, what's out there, maybe to go on a date or 2 just to get to know somebody. That'd be nice. But the problem is nobody is asking me out. Nobody's asking anybody out. We're just 1 to 2 little sentences, and it stops there. It stops. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what's going on, but I do engage with the conversation, and it just dies. It's just nothing. They don't care enough to take you out. So honestly, I don't think men want to take out women anymore. I don't know what they expect. Well, it's definitely not dates, not romanticizing, or no romance anymore. It's wild out here.
Opting out is different from giving up. Giving up implies failure. Opting out implies evaluation. These men looked at the product, read the terms and conditions, assessed the historical performance data, and made an informed decision that the investment does not justify the exposure. That is not a broken man. That is a man with a functioning risk assessment department.
Men love the chase. Men love the chase. I love to sleep. I love to sit down. I love to not be running. Okay. I don't want to play hard to get just because you're hard to have. My entire dating journey, people have always told me, you can never tell a man how you really feel. Never let them know that you like them. You got to keep them on their toes. Don't let them know your next move. My next move's going to be a karate chop to the throat because that's fucking annoying.
This right here is the perfect example of why women and men should be very cautious about taking dating advice from other women. You have to be super selective.
If you are a stay-at-home mom, you should be receiving a salary from your husband. If you are a stay-at-home mom, otherwise known as a non-compensated working mom, and you are married to a man, your husband, the compensated partner, should be paying for the uncompensated labor. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of pissed off men in the comments, but try to replace you. Try to replace a stay-at-home mom. You're going to be paying for a chauffeur, a chef, a nanny, a project manager for the house. In fact, recent data has shown that stay-at-home moms, non-compensated working parents, if you had to pay them a salary, it would be at least $175,000 a year. So if you are a non-compensated working mom, if you are a stay-at-home mom, you deserve a salary from your husband. I said it.
The panic has a very specific texture. It is not the panic of scarcity. There are still men in the dating pool. It is the panic of quality scarcity. The men who are gone are not the men she would have swiped left on. They are precisely the men she would have swiped right on. The men who remain are the ones the algorithm kept recommending and she kept skipping. The irony has arrived with perfect timing.
Proverbs 21:9. Better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. It is better for me to live on an unstable, unprotected roof where my life is in danger than to live in a house with a quarrelsome wife.
Oh, wow.
Basically, in pimp terms, if you causing problems, baby, you got to go. If you ain't on program, you got to go. What you looking up for?
I don't know, I just had to double check.
Oh, so you fact checking the Lord, see? Oh,
No, you're not.
Father, listen, I'm trying to talk to them down here. I'm trying to spread the good word, but you see, I don't know why you made them like.
Can we talk about why modern women are lonelier than ever? Because nobody wants to admit the real reason. I see it everywhere. Successful women with amazing careers, perfect Instagram feeds, but they're absolutely miserable and isolated. And I know because I used to be one of them. We were told that independence was everything, that we didn't need anyone, that needing people was weakness, so we built these perfect little walls around ourselves. We chose careers over relationships, being right over being loved, and proving ourselves over connecting with others. We pushed away anyone who tried to get close to us because we had to be strong. And now we're sitting in our perfectly decorated apartments, scrolling through dating apps, wondering why we feel so empty inside. We have everything modern feminism promised us, but we've never been more alone. Because the truth is, humans are wired for connection. Especially women, we need community, partnership, and deep relationships. But we've been convinced that wanting these things makes us weak or pick-me's. The loneliness epidemic isn't an accident. It's what happens when you tell women to reject everything that actually fulfills them. You can have all the success in the world, but if you don't have real connection, you have nothing.
Ask any man who opted out 6 months ago how he's doing. Go ahead. The answer is consistent across demographics, income levels, and geographies. Better sleep, more money, more focus, more progress on every goal he set, less anxiety, less performance. The opt-out dividend is real, it is immediate, and it compounds. Men are not keeping this a secret. They are telling each other, loudly.
Here's something that I don't see anyone talking about, and it's the female loneliness epidemic. I just turned 23 and I am officially done with looking for new friends because nowadays, girls are fucking impossible to make friends with. Before you call me a pick-me, hear me out. In my experience, young women today do not know what it means to be a friend. They expect everyone, including other women, to chase them the same way men chase them romantically. It's always me texting first, it's always me making plans, it's always me arranging reservations to make hangouts happen, only to be told the day of that like, oh, something came up, / they straight up admit that they forgot. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, girl. And their I'm so sorries are never followed up by, let me make it up to you, how about we do this or this instead. It's always just, I'm so sorry, blank. All these girls want to do is just be Instagram mutuals. They want to like your posts, they want you to like theirs, they want to swipe up on your story. They want like little crumbs of your attention, but they are not actually looking for like a real life friend with like substance and value. And
she didn't think he'd actually do it. That's the most important sentence in this entire conversation. The threats, the warnings, the growing chorus of men saying the deal doesn't work for us anymore were processed as negotiating tactics, as emotional expression, as something that would resolve itself when the right woman came along. The men were not negotiating, they were informing. The distinction was lost in translation and is now being discovered in the data.
Men have it so easy. Men have it so freaking easy.
What?
One, they don't bleed every month, okay?
Oh, here we go.
They don't go through literal psychosis 3 weeks out of the month, okay? Which, that leaves 1 week that I'm normal, that I'm a normal person.
Gee, I wonder which week they're choosing to do this video on.
That probably goes for every girl.
No, it really doesn't.
Issue number 2 is, honestly, I really think men have the pick of the litter.
Huh?
You look at the ratio of single pretty women to single pretty men, or like good looking men, girls, men. Okay, that's how it is. Anyway, that's just my thought of the day.
This is just an example of why not every thought needs to be an outside.
Are you serious?
The return assumption is the second miscalculation. After the first shock that men actually left, comes the confident prediction that they'll be back, that loneliness will drive them back, that biology will drive them back, that something will drive them back. Men who have built a life in the opted-out space are watching this prediction with the mild amusement of someone who has been told they'll miss something they genuinely do not miss.
Some women are like, yo, what happened to men? Like, none of them approach us anymore. Like, and I'm not gonna go approach a man. Like, this, what the fuck happened? Like, how are we supposed to date? They don't approach you because women have made it so fucking difficult for guys. Where if a guy even says, wow, you're so beautiful. You look very beautiful today. They'll literally look at him and be like, ew. Who the fuck wants to deal with this? Who? No one. That's why nobody's fucking approaching your ass. Okay? No one. Like, I've seen it. I've fucking seen it. With women just being like, ew. And it's like, yo, you could literally be like, you know what? No, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm flattered. And if they don't leave you alone, just keep it walking. Keep it moving. Keep it fucking moving. You don't gotta be a fucking bitch. You really don't. And that's why guys don't approach women anymore. That's literally why.
One of my favorite arguments that some men have is, I'm a good man and no one appreciates me, so I'm just going to become a passport bro. Or, I'm giving up on dating and I'm just going to pay a schmags worker instead and have zero aggravation. No, you're not. You're not a good man. You're a transactional man. You expect that if you're good or nice or jump through all of these hoops, you will get something in return. And if you are that kind of a man, then you are. Just own it. But the mark of a true good man or woman, a good person, is will you be kind? Will you be good to another when that person is not being good or kind to you? Tossing your hands in the air and having a tantrum saying you're going to take your toys and go to a different playground does not make you a good playmate. It just makes you manipulative, and it exposes you as someone who only behaves well when it's for their own gain.
Nobody wants to say it, so we will. The opt-out was not spontaneous. It had a cause. It had a decade of documented causes. The dismissiveness, the entitlement, the shifting standards, the weaponized emotions, the institutional bias, the legal exposure, the cultural contempt for male contribution. Men did not opt out of an attractive proposition. They opted out of a systematically degraded one. The degradation has a traceable origin.
Men have it so easy. Men have it so freaking easy.
You guys want to believe women at the expense of men. Why isn't Amber Heard in jail? Because of the Me Too movement.
And now Heard had to pay a massive settlement.
Yeah, but why isn't she in jail?
You want her in jail?
Yes.
The penalties for defamation are what the court's decision is. You want people to go to prison for defamation?
He had to go to 2 different countries to clear his name. Why isn't she in jail? He lost millions of dollars.
To be clear, you think the penalty for defamation is prison time?
I think the penalty for a false accusation is that the woman should get the same time that he would have gotten if he was found guilty.
Men don't go to prison for defamation.
And see, this is the problem with feminists. You want all these freedoms, but you won't actually be equal.
The fear underneath the panic is specific and legitimate. The fear of ending up alone, that fear is human. It is not ridiculous. But the response to that fear, more content, more outrage, more external attribution, odds more demands that men return on unrevised terms, is not a strategy. It is a coping mechanism, and it is not producing results because it does not address the variable that is actually within her control.
What part of dating is exhausting to men? Is it the emotional aspect of dating? Is it the physical aspect of dating? What's so tiring about it for men? I was exhausted with dating, and then I started working on myself and exhaustively. I know what I'm looking for and I know what I'm worth. Obviously, no one's perfect. We all have work to do. But I guess I just really want to understand, are men exhausted with women or are they exhausted with themselves?
Women be like, I wish men were more emotionally intelligent. They're all just so stunted. We are vastly superior to you in that department. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize and regulate emotion and not expressing every little feeling every time it pops up, not bleeding them everywhere like you do. Self-regulation. This is not a character trait that women possess naturally. It's a skill that men have to develop.
The men who opted out did not find a vacuum. They found purpose in work, in discipline, in brotherhood, in craft, in the specific satisfaction of building something that belongs entirely to them. The relational gap that was supposed to make them miserable enough to return produced instead a restructured life with more intentional architecture than the one they left. The misery did not arrive on schedule. The contentment arrived instead.
Millennial and like Gen Z men, like men in our age groups, they're twice as likely as women to say that they're not dating, they're not having sex, they're not even trying to because they feel like nobody would want to. Which is like crazy that they're so self-aware to know that. But like, no. But like in all seriousness, like I think there's a real challenge with young men, and I think it's like it might not even be about them. Like it might not even be about the woman in their life. It's like the same thing where I'm sure you've had experiences like yourself as well. You're feeling so shit about yourself, then how are you supposed to like give love to other people? Or when you're thinking like, oh, well, why bother investing in like even buying somebody something nice for a first date because it always goes shit. And I was really shocked when I read that because I was like, maybe there's something like deeper happening. I don't know.
Look, you can't treat future partners based off past experience. That's not fair to the future people. And like we've all had bad relationships. We've all been, fucking sewered in the past. We've all had bad things happen to us in relationships and in love. You cannot carry that forward. I think that's part of the breakup where when you break up after a shitty breakup or a shitty relationship, you need to heal. Because if you bring that trauma forward, you're not doing anybody like anything good. I've done it. I've done that in the past where I've brought in previous relationships into current ones and I've hurt people. And it's like, I'm not saying these people I hurt were fucking innocent by any means, but did they deserve what I did to them? Absolutely not. And I did it to them just because I was carrying previous pain forward.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, after a breakup, take time to heal.
I saw this video today where this girl's talking about the male loneliness epidemic and something about good-looking men and like getting mad when they say no or something, but that's not really the point. I just can't get over it. This is like the 800th video talking about the male loneliness epidemic. There's no man that's complaining about this. All I see when I see the topic of the male loneliness epidemic is literally women bringing it up. There's not been a man coming on this app complaining about the male loneliness epidemic. And on top of that, this is just some videos from the last 2 days that I've seen. This girl that had like 1 million views of this girl giving you advice to stop chasing men because you guys are chasing men. This girl getting upset because a man said, what does she bring to the table? So then like she like makes up a fake argument. This girl talking about how men want to be chased because men don't want to go and approach and especially talk to her, like Jesus Christ. This girl that says, oh my God, like I'm not going to go and chase after a guy when it's like, what the heck is going on over here? Like, what is this?
I'm feeling a little like some attention, so I'm gonna manifest. I'm pausing. I need a masculine man.
It is so insane to me. I really think girls say this is a cope when like they realize that like men aren't approaching as much and they think like we're all sitting here like in solitary confinement just crying, oh my God, we don't have women. Nobody's saying this. Girls are the one coming on this app that keep framing it in different ways to make themselves feel better. Oh, it's because they're gay. Oh, it's because, they're not masculine enough. The harsh reality is, even though you might say there's a male loneliness epidemic, that is just a term that is used for the fact that males are staying single at a higher rate. That is because males don't crave relationships at the rate that women do. Now, is this to say there's not a group of incel lonely men that are probably lonely? For sure. But there's definitely a lot of femcels. And what's ironic is a lot of the femcels that come on this, app and talk about, their hatred for men, they're still actively looking for men. They just think that their man is like the exception to the rule. Moral of the story here is the whole male loneliness epidemic. I just literally want to scratch my brain when I hear that because no man is saying that. Not a single man has been like, oh, dude, I hate this male loneliness epidemic that's going on. You feeling it, brother? Not happening. Okay, what do you think?
The question being asked in increasingly desperate tones across every platform, how do we get them back, has an answer. It is not complicated. It requires genuine reciprocity. On genuine accountability, genuine revision of the behavioral and institutional conditions that made opting out the rational choice. What it does not respond to is louder demands, more outrage content, or the rebranding of the same value proposition in new packaging. Men are reading the ingredients list now, not the label.
Ready with me while I show you why I'm late to every obligation in my life? So I don't mind wearing a see-through shirt, but I do want to cover up my face. A bag would be more efficient, but this works too. So now that I look like I'm made of clay, I'm ready to start applying the skid marks to my face. I was running out of it, so I actually just went and got a little bit of mud from the street. It's interesting because I care so much about my skin routine and making my skin look nice, but I spend 2 hours a day applying chemicals to my face. But of course, all of these I made sure were tested on animals, and I only buy the ones that didn't make the rabbits bang their head against the wall until they died. Now that I can get away with telling people I'm Hispanic, I'm using an eyebrow darkener made from the coal a Venezuelan boy mined from a cave. I got it at Sephora. I spend $1,000 a month removing hair everywhere from my body. But this hair I use power tools and charcoal to make sure you see it. Sometimes I think, what if I just use this thing to scoop my eyes out? Then I wouldn't have to care what I look like in the mirror anymore. Okay, so now I'm using this Q-tip to it's not doing anything. It's just something to do to add extra time to make sure I will be late to where I have to be. So the look I'm going for here is dead body they tried to make look more lively, and I think I succeeded. Make sure to stick around for my bedtime routine later, where I use a power washer to take all of this off. So that's my makeup routine. Make sure to flatter me in the comments and then talk badly about me behind my back.
I got this feeling on the summer day when you were gone.
Let me get this straight. You felt uncomfortable because the machine was pointed at all the men, and then proceeded to post the exact angle you were afraid of online for, get this, 625,000 likes. Likes, not views, likes. So all those millions of people saw the exact view that you were afraid of. So you love attention. You need attention.
The testimonials from the opted out are the most effective recruitment material the opt-out movement has. Not ideology, not red pill content, just men living visibly, measurably, undeniably well, and other men watching and running the comparison. The comparison is not favorable to re-entry. The opted out men are not making the case with arguments. They are making it with their lives, and it is working.
I can understand why men have given up dating, because can someone make it make sense for me how these women want men to text them back fast, but not too fast, that it's too creepy. They want men to make 6 figures while working 20 hours a week while they still have quality time with them. You know, if he has a good relationship with his mom, then that means he treats women well. But if he doesn't have a relationship with his mom, then that means he's automatically abusive. But then she doesn't want to ever talk about her daddy issues. If he's too nice and too kind, then that means that he wants something from you, or, you know, there's an assumption that he's just buying you gifts and whining and dining you because he wants sex. But if he doesn't wine and dine you, then he's lazy, he doesn't care, and he's not putting in enough effort. You want men to lead, but you don't want to listen. You want men to show their masculinity and take charge and plan dates, but not too much masculinity that he comes off as aggressive, mean, rude, or condescending. You want men to be in tune with your emotions, but if he's too emotional, then he's weak, and you don't trust him to make decisions and lead. He has to be attractive, but not too attractive that he looks like a fuckboy or somebody that gets around, because if he's too attractive, then he has too many options. But if he's not attractive enough, then you're not even looking in his direction. If he has a child and a baby mom, then you automatically assume that, you know, what baby mom would want to be single, and that makes him toxic. But if he's never been married or in a committed relationship, then that also makes him toxic, and that's a red flag because he's never been in a relationship before. You want men to initiate the dating stages of a relationship. You want men to initiate sex, but then when he stops initiating sex, then you assume that he's cheating on you. You want men to be honest and open and upfront, but your idea of honest and open and upfront is basically him telling you only the truth that validate your feelings and your experiences, because the moment that he invalidates how you feel, now he's narcissistic, he's abusive, and he is mentally and emotionally using you and abusing you. These women will always say that they want men to be themselves and be authentic to who they are, but then there's an entire list of icks, like wearing sandals at you know, in winter, or him just getting coffee, or him getting sepsis and you think it's funny and you're posting it on social media, but the moment that he posts an ugly picture of you on social media, now he's a piece of crap and he's picked the wrong picture and now you feel bad about yourself. If he dresses well and he takes care of himself, then he's too feminine and he's trying to show off. But if he doesn't dress well enough and he doesn't show off and he dresses average, then he looks like a broke-ass loser bum and you want nothing to do with him. You want that man to have hobbies like going to play golf or gaming, but if he games too much or plays golf too much or it inconveniences your lifestyle or what you have going on, now you're pissed off. But if he doesn't have any hobbies, then he's a loser because he's too obsessed with you. But if he has too many hobbies and takes away time from you, then he doesn't care enough. If a man respects a woman's boundaries, then he's being too creepy because he's just too good of a man. But if he doesn't respect her boundaries, then he's likely to abuse her or SA her later on down the road. If a man speaks loud, then that means that he's aggressive. If he speaks too soft, then that means he's too feminine. Women expect constant attention and praise all of the time. So if you give too much, then you're trying too hard. But if you give too little, then you're a lazy bum and you don't match the guys in her DMs. These women don't want men to be manipulative or liars or cheaters, but they'll turn around and show their butt cheeks online and call it, you know, body positivity to basically cheat on you and be narcissistic, but then it's still all of your fault. And the sad reality is that you could give a woman everything that she could ever dream of: the house, the money, the cars, the emotional stability. You could provide, you could protect, you could check all of the boxes down the list. And guess what? She's going to turn around and say that she's bored, she's uninspired, she's not attracted to you. She's going to cheat on you with the next guy down the street who has no job, all because Susie Q has a better life on Instagram. But not only that, when she says that she's unhappy, she's going to get online and talk about how you're a narcissist, how you're abusive, even though you gave her everything that she could ever want. And every single step of the way that the goalpost changed or the expectation, especially unrealistic expectations, changed, you gave it to her and it still wasn't enough. So yeah, if anyone is ever wondering why men have stopped dating, this is a perfect example, because even as a woman, if you really sit back and look at it, it's so unrealistic and it's so delusional and it's so narcissistic that who the hell would want to put themselves through this? And it makes sense when you really think about it, because none of it actually makes sense. Women don't actually know what they want. They love the highs and lows of being incompatible with the wrong people instead of just being at peace, and then they blame the men for the unfulfillment and the lack of peace within their lives, even though they're the ones creating this diabolical cycle over and over with different men. Okay, bye.
The panic is real, the men are gone. The opt-out was not a bluff, not a phase, and not a negotiating position. It was a decision made by men who did the math, didn't like the answer, and chose a different equation entirely. The door didn't slam, it just closed, quietly, with a man on the other side of it who is genuinely, completely, peacefully fine. Subscribe to Male Imperium. We opted out before it was mainstream. Subscribe to Male Imperium for more. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit that like button on your way out. See you next time.